The NFL recently announced they will help fund research on the links between concussions and brain damage. The research itself will focus specifically on retired jockeys who suffer an enormous amount of brain trauma, even compared to football players. The research will focus on the connection between concussions and a degenerative brain disease commonly referred to as CTE. This disease can only be diagnosed after death. A total of $765 million have been reached in settlements between the NFL and former players who have sued for brain damage and degeneration. A recent study also found that 87 out of 91 brains of deceased NFL players that were tested did have CTE. Joining me now to discuss is Breitbart sports columnist, announcer for several pro and college teams, and a sports anchor and reporter, Kevin Scholla. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Liz, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Do you think that the NFL should set stricter regulations when it comes to handling the concussions that do happen?
You know what? It may sound callous to some. It's football, and you're going to get hurt. And this happens in a lot of sports, obviously, where you can get hurt. I mean, there's a real chance at death in NASCAR. There's a chance at death in boxing. Okay, there's a chance of getting hurt in cheerleading and baseball and every sport we can name. So football, people call it a contact sport. It's a collision sport. It's a sport where you are going to get hit and you're going to get your head hit. So a lot of these rule changes and studies, at the end of the day, unless you change what football really is, things are still going to happen along those lines.
Why is more focus, in your opinion, given to football and the risks that come with this sport rather than, say, NASCAR, baseball, or boxing, other sports that you say, death can be a threat? Why is more focus given to the threat that comes with playing football?
I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, from a pro level, it's this current regime, Roger Goodell, a lot of the things he's done, the rule changes. Yeah, it's not concussions that are hurting the NFL right now. It's a lot of the things that are coming from the commissioner's office and from the officiating. And, it is working, though, and that's unfortunate. They're scaring American parents. People are scared to have their child play football. And I mean, I don't know, J.J. Watt coming at you and tackling you, at least that's a man against a man. I mean, I'd much rather have that than have, a Noah Syndergaard 100-mile-an-hour fastball inside at me, or say maybe a Shea Weber slap shot coming at me, where a ball or a puck, you can't really protect yourself. I played for a decade. My son plays football. There's a lot of great things about it. But now, as we see in our government right now, everybody going toward that European style with a lot of things, I think they're trying to do that with our sports too, and promoting soccer over football.
Right, and honestly, both of those things sound terrifying to me. Kick a soccer ball right at my face and I'll hit it right back towards you, no fear. But the idea of someone throwing a baseball pitch at that speed makes me just want to turn around and run away. But we're 9 months right now away from a film release starring Will Smith that portrays this controversy in how the NFL has handled concussions in the past. But several NFL representatives have come out and said that the culture is already changing from how it's portrayed in this film. And this film does tell the story of a Pittsburgh Steelers player who was diagnosed with CTE in 2002. Is the NFL already trying to distance themselves from this film?
They may be, but, you have to consider the source of the films, too. I mean, you're in Hollywood. Will Smith, who has moved farther and farther to the left with a lot of his comments and politics over the years. So to bash the NFL and bash football wouldn't be a surprise. That said, the NFL, no saints in this either. I mean, but, it's not just owners and coaches. I mean, players on any level, especially in the highest level of the NFL, they're going to want to play for the most part. You look at the most publicized, I guess, concussion, or was it a concussion, the Super Bowl last season with Julian Edelman with the New England Patriots, who stayed in the game and wound up being a key factor to winning it. I know Brian Urlacher, the former Chicago Bear great, and others have said, you know what, I'll just say I didn't, that I feel fine, or go through or past, I should say, the procedures that are implemented. We saw this just happen recently with Arian Foster of the Texans, who just went back in the game when he was supposed to not do that. And here they're stealing the guys' helmets to not let them in, treating them like babies. So as far as the movie, though, we'll have to see. But I mean, it's coming out of Hollywood. So, they're going to try to get as many people to go there as possible, which means they're going to try to scare as many people as possible.
They're going to try to stir up the controversy to bring people in. Right, because that's how the sensationalist media works. This is